Bonjour. So today we're going to read from chapter 5 of my book. Uh, it is called Prophet of God, PRFIT. It's by Chris Cooper. This is a paperback version, the paperback version that's available on Amazon.com. This title is actually unique in that spelling, PROFIT, of God. So it would be really easy to look up. But in the description of this video, I'm going to include a link to the Amazon. It'll either be like a portal or you could copy and paste and all that. But let's get started. I thought today I would read chapter 5, kind of in the middle of the book, to give you more of an idea of what it's about. Get the hair situated. It's the most important part. So, chapter 5. A grainy night vision video footage. There's a figure sitting on a chair in a darkened room overlooking a table. Covered entirely in black clothing, the figure remains still. Every few seconds, the figure's head rises, and not long after, words appear on a sidebar display of the screen, evidently addressing another user's inquiry or statement. Then, the figure's head is seen to lower, almost in a mechanical-like, disjointed way, like an animatronic at a carnival. The video betrays the faint outline of what appears to be a human face every time the head of the mysterious figure lifts up, only with obscured features, frozen, and a long hood is draped over the face. Across the feed on the side of the screen, strings of text traffic continue to pop in and out sporadically, accompanied by a random assortment of usernames and memes, moving too quickly to be easily read. Damn, dude. The horn blasts from the front as Troy jerks the car. Jesse, Trevin, and Lint tear away their focus from the face of Lint's smartphone, from which they were all mesmerized by the strange video feed online. "Learn how to drive, you moron," Troy shouts through a cloud of vapor out into the road. Lint's thumb accidentally struck the screen on his phone during the disruption, sending the picture they were all watching away, and the signal failed. He collapsed it into his lap, smacking his lips. "Man, you fucking ruined it, T," Lint shouted. Troy shot over. What y'all looking at?" "No, man, it's this crazy stream I found. I was trying to ask this AI thing something and you fucked it up." Troy rolled his eyes. "Bro, that shit's gay. You know it's all fake. You gotta be careful about looking around the dark web and stuff, dude." "Nah, low key, this was for real this time. It's not the dark web either, you fucking," said Lynn. "That's really weird, though," Trevin chimed from the back seat. "Yeah, but why?" asked Jesse out loud. "That's just it. My buddy sent the link to me, and that's what makes it so weird. There's like no reason for it. I guess it's just some bot thing. He said it answers people's questions. Sometimes the random guy in the picture will just move its head, and you can see a fucking, like, glowing eyes from its face. Real bizarre," Lint explained. "I took a bunch of screenshots of its face, but they were all blank." "Yeah, but what's the point of it?" Trevin asked. Lint just shrugged. "It's basically turned into this chat room. People just go on there just uploading stuff and having random conversations, asking like fortunes and all that, seeing if the thing will move. I don't know." The crew headed for Stymax one last time before starting the program at the church. It was, quote, kickoff day. Everyone who'd signed up was expected to show up on the church grounds to be processed into the program that afternoon. Apparently, some welcoming event and bonfire waited for them all across Port Ridge and beyond. The guys assumed that during their 90-day excursion, even though the church would provide food and lodging, they'd likely not be doling out energy drinks, cigarettes, and booze. Conspiracy theorists, Troy muttered. That is weird, though, Trevin observed. Remember that dude you showed me, Lint, with the clay on his head, like touching himself on camera or some shit? Troy said. Not the same, bro, Lint clapped back. Pulling all the guy's cash in his hands, Jesse hopped out of the sedan and started taking orders from Troy's window like a drive-in diner worker. He called on Trevin for help, and the two of them meandered inside the store. Potato chips, beef sticks, energy drinks, and bags of candy hung along Trevin's crossed arms like the last haul of a Bedouin caravan. Leo, the clerk, was hovering in one of the back corners of Stymax. He was busy angrily directing an electrician who'd been called in to manage some of the ancient lights which had busted on the ceiling. Trevin and Jesse dumped their selections onto the counter, which sat nearly shoulder height. Hey, Leo shouted from the other end of the store toward the pair. If y'all could just ring yourselves up right quick, I'll be along shortly. Jesse whipped around the small swinging door which separated the store's front counter from the floor like an old western saloon. Hello, sir, how can I help you? Jesse teased, punching in some of the items into the register. Trevin giggled. The bells of the front door rang. Trevin was bagging the goods when he became captured by the person who'd just blown in. An old man scuffed toward the counter. His head was hanging loose from his neck until his eyes climbed up to meet Trevin's own. It was the prophet again. Trevin nearly fell over a stand of dangling licorice ropes, stepping backwards. The prophet offered a simple nod, and his beard opened into a smile, before finally turning toward the tall counter and peering at Jesse with glassy, hind-set eyes. Jesse switched to the opposite register, stiffened up, and lowered his voice. Can I help you, sir? The prophet threw a satchel hanging over his side onto the counter, and, like an old lady with her purse, he began sifting through its contents. Excuse me for interrupting you gentlemen's day. I just have a favor to ask, the prophet said. Finally, he drew out his hand and unfurled a piece of worn paper. Give me a number 14, the second one in. A number 40, the fourth one in, he said, squinting. Jesse just stood there clueless, tapping the countertop with his fingers, unsure what the stranger meant. The prophet detected Jesse's confusion and smiled, indicating with a raised finger the plastic tower display of lottery scratch-offs beside him by the register. The tickets, son. There. Oh, shit, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, Jesse realized. Just then, Leo's big gut bumped into Jesse. Excuse me, Jess. Sorry about that. I didn't realize numbnuts over there would take so long. Here, I've got this. Y'all can be on your way. Trevin was hiding beside the candy shelves when Jesse collected him, dragging several black plastic bags from his forearm. You okay? He asked Trevin, making their way out. You know we're not allowed to do that, Jack. I'm afraid you'll have to buy the ones you need, Leo said purposefully loudly, clearing his throat. Trevin's fix wouldn't let up from the old man at the counter, as Jesse pulled forward toward the door. The sun drained away, as it tends to do in the company of friends. It became time to head to the tabernacle's grounds and to the, quote, kickoff event designed to receive the incoming participants of the summer work program. All participants of the program were assigned to meet at the entrance of the enormous recreational acreage of the church, an elaborate maze of pine trails and cabins as sinews, marked occasionally by the resting bench, diving back into the rich forest all about. A distinct entrance marked by orange-colored steel gates and flanked by two cedar guard shacks lay some worthy distance from the rear of the fellowship building the guys had seen from before. Troy's lead foot made short the drive out. The car full of guys bounced into a spot, and they all began tumbling out. Troy hurled his duffel bag full of stuff, almost bursting at the seams, across the top of his car, immediately lighting a cigarette. "Hey, Trev, didn't you say your brother worked here or something?" Troy commented between his teeth. "Yeah, he's on a mission. Why?" Trevin answered, tucking some of his items underneath an arm. Troy just shrugged, stuffing some beef sticks into his bag. They all hurriedly unloaded their gear and double-checked that the car was cleared of anything they felt they might need. "I mean, it's not like we're not going to be able to come back to the car," Jesse said. There were a couple tables stretched out just beyond the gated entrance as the troop approached. Troy's cigarette made a twisted pillar of smoke along the way, like a locomotive as they drew nearer. Some orange t-shirts and fake smiles greeted them, and the group was directed toward a table taking in cabin registration. There were guys who showed up alone, their faces buried in smartphones, some with friends and others with family wishing them farewell with hugs and even balloons, as if they were going across the sea on a voyage. Ominous pines stood at attention up ahead, clamor and chatter bouncing beneath their limbs. The church had, in years past, made it a point to import various non-native species of coniferous trees in an effort to further distinguish their property from the rest of the popular summer camping destinations all around Port Ridges County. The main feed into the wild grounds had a peculiar Eastern European feel, with row following row of larches and imposing spruce. "Bro, we gotta get a cabin together." Troy abruptly turned his body around, nearly ramming into Jesse. "Well, yeah, no shit," Jesse said. "We gotta make sure we're not gonna get bunked with some fucking queers or something." Troy held his cigarette between his teeth, much to some of the church staff's visible curiosity. "Hey, Trev, you're staying with us too, right?" Troy added, pausing in his tracks. "Hi there. Hosanna, and welcome." A familiar voice shot at them all from another table not far ahead. The greased back hair could be recognized anywhere. It was Jeff. Troy approached his table, sizing Jeff up, and took his hand in an ironclad smack. "Oh, hey, buddy, Vitali. Nice to meet you. Me and my friends are looking to bunk together. Now, I don't know if y'all have already made assignments or," said Troy, bouncing his cigarette on his lips. No, sir, we haven't," Jeff stumbled, twisting his palm with the opposite hand. "Good. So how do we go about doing that?" Jeff shook a clipboard in front of them. "Great question. If you would, just leave your names along the lines of each available vacancy and we'll..." Troy snatched the clipboard. "Sick. Thanks, pal." Being some of the first people to arrive, the guys were able to assign themselves a cabin before names began to get filled in. Beyond Jeff's registration table, there was a wide gravel pathway, interspersed with yet more towering pines. Amber needles made a veritable carpet the deeper one went into the property, and the hearty Yule scent drifted along the air.